What if I told you that one of the most feared ingredients in modern food is also found naturally in tomatoes, mushrooms, Parmesan cheese, and even human breast milk? For decades, people have warned friends and family to avoid MSG. Some restaurants proudly advertise no MSG signs, while others quietly use it every day. But what exactly is MSG? Why did it become so controversial? And is it really bad for you? The answer may surprise you, because the story of MSG is very different from what many people believe. Welcome to Consumer's Choice Top 5, where we uncover food mysteries, explain everyday ingredients, and reveal the fascinating stories behind the foods we eat. Today, we're taking a closer look at one of the most misunderstood ingredients in the world, and answering a question that millions of people still ask. What exactly is MSG, and is it really bad for you? Before we get started, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments whether you actively avoid MSG or don't worry about it at all. This topic tends to spark strong opinions, so let's see what everyone thinks. Let's begin with the basics. MSG stands for Monosodium Glutamate. That name sounds complicated and scientific, which may be one reason it makes some people nervous. But when you break it down, it's actually much simpler than it sounds. MSG is made up of sodium and glutamate. Most people recognize sodium because it's a component of salt. Glutamate is a naturally occurring substance found in many foods. In fact, glutamate exists naturally in foods that people eat every day. Tomatoes contain glutamate. Parmesan cheese contains glutamate. Mushrooms contain glutamate. Seaweed contains glutamate. Even foods like peas and corn contain varying amounts of glutamate. This is important because many people assume MSG is some strange artificial chemical invented in a laboratory. The reality is that glutamate exists naturally throughout the food supply. So why do people add MSG to food? The answer comes down to flavor. MSG enhances a taste known as umami. If you've heard of sweet, salty, sour, and bitter, then umami is often considered the fifth basic taste. Umami is difficult to describe if you've never thought about it before. It's the rich, savory, satisfying flavor that makes certain foods taste especially delicious. Think about the flavor of a well-cooked steak, a bowl of rich broth, aged cheese, or a hearty mushroom dish. That deep, savory quality is often associated with umami. MSG helps boost that sensation. That's why chefs and food manufacturers use it. It doesn't necessarily make food taste salty. It doesn't make food sweet. Instead, it makes savory foods taste more flavorful and satisfying. Now here's something interesting. MSG wasn't invented to trick people into eating food. It was actually discovered because someone wanted to understand why certain foods tasted so good. Back in 1908, a Japanese scientist named Kikunai Ikeda studied seaweed broth and noticed a unique savory flavor that didn't fit into the traditional categories of sweet, salty, sour, or bitter. After investigating, he identified glutamate as the source of that flavor. Eventually, MSG was developed as a way to provide that same savory taste enhancement in cooking. And that's how the modern MSG story began. For decades, MSG became widely used around the world. Restaurants used it. Food manufacturers used it. Home cooks used it. And for many years, there wasn't much controversy. Then something changed. In the late 1960s, reports began appearing that linked MSG to symptoms such as headaches, flushing, and discomfort after eating certain foods. This led to a phrase that became widely known: Chinese restaurant syndrome. As media coverage increased, concerns about MSG spread rapidly. Many people became convinced that MSG was harmful. Restaurants began advertising that they didn't use MSG. Consumers started checking ingredient labels. The ingredient developed a reputation that still exists today. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Over the years, scientists conducted numerous studies to investigate the claims. Researchers wanted to know whether MSG actually caused the symptoms people were reporting. The results were often surprising. Many scientific reviews found little evidence that MSG causes problems for most people when consumed in normal amounts. Major health organizations around the world have generally concluded that MSG is safe for the vast majority of people. This includes organizations responsible for evaluating food safety. That doesn't mean every single person reacts exactly the same way. Some individuals may report sensitivity under certain conditions, particularly when consuming very large amounts without food. But for most people, scientific evidence has not supported the idea that MSG is broadly dangerous. This disconnect between public perception and scientific findings is one reason MSG remains such a fascinating topic. Many people still view it as something harmful, even though the scientific picture is far more nuanced. Let's think about this another way. Suppose someone says they avoid MSG because it's a chemical. Technically, that's true. MSG is a chemical. But water is also a chemical. Salt is a chemical. Vitamin C is a chemical. Everything around us is made of chemicals. The word itself doesn't automatically mean something is dangerous. What matters is understanding what the substance actually is and how it affects the body. Another interesting fact is that foods naturally rich in glutamate are rarely viewed with suspicion. People happily eat tomatoes. They enjoy mushrooms. They sprinkle Parmesan cheese on pasta. Yet these foods naturally contain glutamate. This often surprises people because they don't associate those foods with the MSG controversy. Let's pause for a moment. Were you aware that foods like tomatoes and Parmesan cheese naturally contain glutamate? Let us know in the comments because many viewers find this fact surprising. Now let's talk about why food manufacturers like MSG so much. The answer is simple. It works. MSG enhances savory flavor while allowing food producers to use less salt in some situations. That's one reason it appears in products such as soups, seasonings, snacks, frozen meals, and instant noodles. Its ability to boost flavor makes it extremely useful. Imagine making a soup taste richer without dramatically increasing the amount of salt. That's one of the benefits MSG can provide. This doesn't mean every food containing MSG is automatically healthy. A bag of chips is still a bag of chips. An instant noodle product is still an instant noodle product. The presence of MSG doesn't magically improve or ruin the nutritional value of a food. It's simply one ingredient among many. Unfortunately, people sometimes blame MSG for issues that are more accurately explained by the overall food itself. For example, someone may eat a large, salty, high-calorie meal and later feel uncomfortable. It's easy to blame one ingredient, but identifying the true cause isn't always that simple. That's one reason researchers have spent decades studying the topic. Another misconception is that MSG only appears in processed foods. While it's true that many packaged products contain MSG, chefs also use it in cooking because of its flavor-enhancing properties. Some professional cooks even compare it to salt. Not because it tastes the same, but because both ingredients can dramatically improve the flavor of food when used appropriately. Think about how bland food tastes without seasoning. Now imagine adding just the right amount. That's the role MSG can play in certain recipes. Of course, as with any ingredient, balance matters. Too much of almost anything can make food less enjoyable. Salt, sugar, spices, and seasonings all work best when used thoughtfully. MSG is no different. As global food culture continues to evolve, attitudes toward MSG have started changing. Many chefs now openly discuss using it. Food writers have revisited the scientific evidence. Consumers have become more interested in separating myths from facts. As a result, some of the fear surrounding MSG has begun to fade. That doesn't mean everyone agrees. Food debates rarely disappear completely, but the conversation today is often more informed than it was decades ago. People are asking better questions. They're looking at scientific evidence. They're examining the history behind the controversy. And that's always a positive development. Before we wrap up, let's quickly review what we've learned. MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. Glutamate occurs naturally in many foods, including tomatoes, mushrooms, and Parmesan cheese. MSG is used to enhance umami, the savory flavor that makes many foods taste richer and more satisfying. It was discovered in the early 1900s while scientists were studying the flavor of seaweed broth. Although MSG developed a controversial reputation, major scientific reviews have generally found it to be safe for most people when consumed in normal amounts. The ingredient remains widely used because of its ability to improve flavor. Most importantly, MSG may be one of the most misunderstood ingredients in the modern food world. So what exactly is MSG? It's a flavor enhancer built around glutamate, a naturally occurring substance found throughout the food supply. And despite decades of controversy, the scientific evidence tells a much more balanced story than many people realize. The next time you see MSG on an ingredient label, you'll know exactly what it is, why it's there, and why the debate around it continues to this day. If you enjoyed learning the truth behind one of the world's most controversial food ingredients, please like this video, subscribe to Consumer's Choice Top 5, and share it with someone who loves food facts, food science, or uncovering common myths. And before you go, answer this question in the comments. After watching this video, has your opinion of MSG changed, or do you still prefer to avoid it? We can't wait to read your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and please check out our previous videos.